Gonna need a little bit of this. Might be a bad idea because I have no script. So this video might take a while to edit and cull through. We are talking about lenses in this video, specifically one lens, or at least not like the exact lens, but a specific focal range. That focal range is the 24 to 70. In my personal opinion, the 24 to 70 variable zoom lens is one of the best lenses you can have, or at least, like I said, one of the best focal ranges you can have, because it offers pretty much every scenario that you'll need out of a lens. I'm gonna move this right here, just so Ghost knows that I would love some free drinks if they'd like to send it my way. Anyways, what I mean by the perfect range and that it fits every scenario you'll be in is that as a photographer or videographer, we come to a point where we're getting ready to graduate from our kit lens or starter lens or whatever. And usually what that means is that you are going to drop a bag, a significant bag, on a lens from whatever brand you use from their premium line. And so for Sony's, that is going to be your G Master line, and typically identified by the orange G on the lenses. For Canon, it's their L series with the red ring, and that's about all I know. Nikon, I know they have their Nikkor. I don't know what their premium line is, actually. Yeah, it's somewhere in there. If you're at that spot that you're getting ready to jump to a premium lens and you're gonna drop a lot of money on it, I would argue that it should be a 24 to 70. Now, obviously, you know best for whatever you're going to do. If you're a wildlife photographer, you should probably get like a 70 to 200 or something even, farther than that. It just kind of depends. It depends all on what you do. And like I said, you're going to know best what you need. But if you're at a crossroads, with like, oh, should I get a prime like 35? Oh, maybe I should get a 24-70, or should I get, a wide angle? Maybe you're just kind of up in the air because you do a lot of different things. So you're not necessarily sure what you should get. That's where I come in with my argument saying that it should be a 24 to 70. For me professionally, I did a lot of photo and video. I honestly can't say that I spent more time doing one or the other. Maybe more time doing photo, but for me, it was without a doubt, I knew the 24-70 was going to be the best thing moving forward, and it was. In my opinion, it is the most versatile focal range because you have your wide at 24. Now, depending on what kind of camera you're putting this on, ideally, if it's a full frame, you're getting that true 24. If you're putting it on some sort of, crop sensor, micro four thirds, whatever, there's always gonna be that cropped factor, so you're not actually getting 24 out of it. But let's say you are putting this on a full frame, so you're gonna get that full benefit of the 24. You're gonna get a nice wide shot 24, and then a pretty decently zoomed in at 70. If you like to do a lot of portraits and other things like that, a lot of people say 85 is a really good focal range for that, and it is, and those prime lenses are phenomenal, but 70 does a pretty good job. I've done a handful of portraits with my 24 to 70, and going all the way out to 70 it gets the job done quite well. But there are some instances where 50 is perfect. I love a 50 mil. It looks phenomenal, and that's baked into this lens. Same with 35 and 24 and so on. Whenever I am going to a shoot and I'm not exactly sure what it's going to entail, I know the general idea of what I'm doing, I'm always packing this 24 to 70 because it is that good. And 9 times out of 10, I don't actually end up getting anything out of my bag. I'll pack my other lenses too. I've got a 70-200 and a 12 to 14. Excuse me, a 12 to 24. And I usually just keep this on my camera and that's it. Now, granted, you can have multiple cameras too, and you can throw something else on there, and I do that a lot too. But 9 times out of 10, I'm just using the 24-70 because it gets the job done. There are so many different lenses out there that I think it's a little saturated now, and it's kind of hard to make a decision because there's so many different lenses, and you kind of overthink what scenarios mean and what, oh, I might need this for that. And when realistically, the 24 to 70 range gets about everything you need. I'm almost positive there's going to be someone in my comment section arguing a ton about what I'm saying. But again, this is specifically for if you are in that boat where you're ready to make the jump to a more premium lens, but you're not necessarily sure what it is. You do a lot of work within that 24 to 70 range, maybe even a little bit more, but you're just not sure, well, should I get a 16 to 35 and a 20? Like, that's where I'm saying a 24-70, I think, is the right route to go. 16 to 35s are nice, and I do love that focal range, especially for video. But there's been a handful of times where I've only had my 12 to 24 or 16 to 35 on my camera, and it just doesn't cut, or it just doesn't, I've missed out on shots because I wasn't able to just zoom in a little bit more. Now, granted, you can do a lot with your composition by, you know, moving and doing all sorts of things, you know, closer to the subject or whatever. But there's still a lot of added benefit to being able to zoom all the way to 70, or like I said, 50. Even having that 50 baked into this is huge because it's such a good looking focal range. Most of these premium lenses are going to be your 2.8 aperture, which is plenty for, you know, any sort of professional use. In my opinion, it opens up enough to where you can get pretty nice bokeh. Now, again, if you're doing portraits and if you're doing things that kind of require a little bit more of that marshmallowy background, you know, that really blurred background, that's where you get into your primes and, you know, you get into your 1.2s, your 1.4s. And again, that is where you are going to know best what you need. Prime lenses are phenomenal, and I love wide open apertures, you know, those 1.2s and 1.4s. I love how they look, but they're very expensive. And to have a whole collection of prime lenses is extremely expensive. So that's where I think settling for the 24-70 as your first premium lens, I think you're gonna get a lot out of it. If you just stop overthinking it and just go for this one, you're gonna get so much out of it, and you're gonna be able to use it in so many different scenarios that you're not even gonna remember overthinking it, and you're not even gonna remember that 16-35. I have used my 24-70 for weddings, for landscape things, for quinceañeras, for promotional videos, for podcasts, just all sorts of things. I have used this lens, and it not once has let me down. I have been able to reposition myself enough to get the composition that I'm looking for. And that's just a testament to how versatile this thing actually is. This is actually Sony's first version of the 24-70. They have a 24-70 second version out right now that I think, I don't know if it's actually more expensive than what this was, but you might be able to find this for cheaper, because if I remember right, the biggest thing that the second version has is they have a aperture dial on it, and then it's also a smaller form factor, which might be nice. But that's the sort of thing that you can look out for, because the glass, honestly, the picture looks the same in my opinion, looking between the two. So as long as you're getting that premium glass that's in these things and that 2.8 aperture, you might consider looking for first versions or something to save yourself some extra money. All in all, lenses are a big purchase, and they're kind of daunting and intimidating to try to shop for. And that's why I wanted to offer this video as just of a little bit of peace of mind almost for when what you're trying to decide to do or what you're trying to get. The 24-70, rest assured, in my experience, pretty much does anything you need it to do, and it does it pretty well. That is my 2 cents on this topic. Feel free to debate me in the comments below, as I'm sure some of you will, but hopefully this was helpful in some way, whether it made you decide against or for the 24-70. Regardless, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a like down below, as well as subscribe for future content like this. And of course, a huge thank you to those of you who are still watching this, boosting my video retention. That, of course, is enough consuming and watching content, guys. Go out there, get those lenses, and make something yourself. I will see you all in the next video.